everybody. Welcome to another edition of Yo on the Go. Today we'll be talking about burnout. Now, in the previous section, I talked about getting up to the fundamental limit of your engine's efficiency, and because you're at that power limit, you may be susceptible, you're actually very vulnerable to unaccounted for, unknown unknowns that could take you out. You become more and more susceptible to that, and that actually reduces your efficiency overall because your actual resiliency is diminished, greatly diminished. You become fragile. Now, what happens when you go over that edge? And quite honestly, this last year, I have pushed myself to that hairy edge. I wanted to see how much I could perform both inside and outside of my day-to-day work cycle, be the best I could be at home, as well as do extracurricular activities, as well as perform the best at work. And quite honestly, I did a very good job on all three metrics and was able to get to that maximal limit. I want to see how much I could perform. The problem is that there developed through that fractures that I was not accounting for. And I did indeed exceed a limit, even though that limit was actually a very normal running working environment. But it was the compounding and excess of stress over long periods of time, maybe over the course of the last 2 to 3 years, that have really taken me out of the cycle. And I find that physically I'm just unable to perform at those high levels. And so we're looking at that concept of resiliency and fundamental limits and the duration. I think there's really a biological thing to this. Stressors like stress hormones enable us to have heightened awareness and heightened the capabilities for short periods of time. When you start to use those stressors to get you to your fundamental limit time and time again, you experience a lack of response from your body, much like that of diabetes, where the insulin response is not as much as needed to control your sugar intake. And so what happens is that you end up having a lack of sensitivity. In that same sense, I think burnout is when you have a lack of sensitivity to the stress hormone. The stress hormone actually degrades your ability to perform even at nominal levels. So how do you fix that? How do you solve that? The answer is total rest. And I mentioned that in the previous season, where one of my mentors said you have to watch dumb TV for a long period of time. You have to really just stop and not do anything and really recharge to regain that sensitivity to your stress hormones and the ability to perform at peak at the right times and the right place. You can't perform peak all the time. You need to measure that, meter that. And so I encourage you, as you think through your career and where you need to perform, there are times in which things just all come in all directions. Your work is asking for an incredible amount from you. Your home life is asking for an incredible amount from you. And then something out of the blue comes in and really derails everything. Don't be discouraged. That happens to everybody throughout their period of their life, multiple times through their life. It's something that we need to learn and cope. And really the answer is that same answer. Very simply, rest. Understand that you are human, that you are built to have both periods of work and periods of rest, and take that time to rest, really rest. And also reevaluate during that time. Do I really want to do what I'm doing now? Can I see myself doing that for the rest of my career? What motivates me? What gives me excitement about my job? Maybe that's something that I've lost some of that excitement. Is it because I'm just physically tired? Is it because that things have changed? These are things that we all need to consider, and we all need to take stock. And that only happens in times of rest. So what do you do when you have work-life balance? There are times when that teeter-totter is broken on both sides, and there are times in which nobody is on the teeter-totter, and you allow that teeter-totter to re-heal so that you can perform at your peak at the right time, at the right place. I hope this was helpful for you. Until next time, bye.